Hello, Scott Austin here from Jade Puma, and in this video I'm going to do a walkthrough of the way that we've set up the ZEISS ordering Shopify website. So here you can see on my screen I'm at stocklenses.zeiss.ca, and that's what I call the front end of the website. I'll also be walking through the back end of the website, which is the Shopify admin. So here I am logged into the Shopify admin right now. And I have access to all the different functionality there. So I'll use this as I'll call this the front end a lot, which is the consumer facing experience, or for your customer facing experience. And then I'll say, let's go to the back end and look at something, and only Shopify admins can do that. And right now, if you go to settings, account, you will see that there is an account owner, and then there are two right now staff accounts, and at this level of Shopify that we're paying for, we're only allowed two staff accounts, so there has to be shared ones. So let's go to the front end and look at the home page here. We've got a welcome banner, a couple navigational elements, one product promotion, and then a footer. So a really basic, very functional home page. Not a lot of promotions, because with your customers, they really know what they want. They don't need to be sold like, hey, this sale or this thing. We're really just letting them come in and order the products that they already know about, and are educated on, and just get that fulfilled as quickly as possible. So the first thing that you see here is we have this register link, and there's also a register today on the home page for a customer to browse the site. So let's just go into the browse experience here for a second. I can click on any of these are called collections that we're going to here, and it shows all the different products in the collection, and I can see those. Notice there's no pricing showing up here, but when I try to go to a product page, I'm actually logged in already, so let me show you the not logged in experience, and this will make more sense to you. So now I'm not logged into the site, and I go back to that collection page, which shows all the different lens products, and I click on one of them, and it says, you need to log in with your account before that you can see this page. And there's also a link there for them to sign up. Another way to get to that link is to just on the home page, click the register button here or the register button here. So let's just click this one. And this takes you to a register page. And this is a form that gets emailed out to the Shopify admin account. And we can add or subtract forms and make different fields required. Right now you can see that name, email, and company are required. So if I try to send the form right now, I should get an error message say, please, fill this field out. And this gets sent in to, like I said, the Shopify admin, which is a ZEISS account. And then you guys start that manual process of seeing if they already have an account. And I don't know the details of how you're doing that, so I'm not going to pretend to here. But this just kicks off that process. And here you can see that we're asking for their ZEISS account number and some other information, so it's easier for you to find them. So when a person registers, all that does is sends an email. It doesn't automatically give them access to the site. That's going to happen on the back end in the process that you guys manage with your own back end system. But once I am registered, right, what will happen then is I'm going to click on a product here. I'm going to go to a product page and show you that message that I got a minute ago saying, hey, you must be logged in to see this page. Now, I've already created an account. And I'll show you what that looks like. So it's Scott at productgraph.io. So if I go to customers on the back end, and I look at there's my account right there, Scott Austin at productgraph.io. Right there, you can see that. And the way that we have this set up right now is here's the LMS account number. In the customer note, we also added it as a tag. I think the way that the system is going to use it, which isn't fully set up right now, but they're setting that up. But I think it's going to be set up that we just put the LMS number in the customer note, and that connects the Shopify order to the back end for ZEISS, and you can connect that or put that order into the system. So that's on the back end. We also need for front end access is that the account has to be tagged wholesale. So whenever someone's in Shopify creating it in the back end, creating a new customer record because someone's coming in and is trying to register with the site, you'll create an account for them, and then you'll have to tag it wholesale. And let's actually show you a little bit of that process now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm just going to try to register here as John Smith. And let's just say it's, Smith and Co. So those are the required fields. Right now I could submit this and it would accept that. Oh, I need to put in the name properly, John Smith. And then email, let's call it just john.smith at jadepuma.com. I actually have two company brands, Jade Puma and Product Graph, so I use them interchangeably. So John Smith at jadepuma.com, and let's just put in a number here. Oh, let's not put one in because it's not required, and I send this off. Thanks for, so we have this little message. Thanks for contacting us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, an email is sent to the Shopify admin, like I mentioned before, and they'll get that and take action. Now, in the customer field, right, we should now see, hopefully, oh no, it doesn't create it yet, right? So they haven't created an account or a record yet. So that information is going to come in, and then the Shopify admin is going to have to say, well, I'm going to add a customer. And they're going to manually add that customer. They're going to have this information from that form, which will be in an email for them. And that was john.smith at jadepuma.com. And you can put in a phone number and that other information if you want to. The customer can create their own addresses. You don't have to put that in here, and they can have multiple ones. Remember I said we have to tag that as wholesale. And we're going to put their LMS number in the notes. So there's that information there, and then I can save that. So now I've created a customer record based on that register email that I got, and you probably already have them connected in your back-end system, which is how you got them the LMS number. So we're going to create that customer record. I'm going to save that. Now that customer record exists, but it's not an account yet, right? And you can see that right here. It says no account. If we look back on the one I was looking at for me a minute ago, right, that one says account, has account. The difference between a customer record with an account and without an account is the fact that the customer, in this case John Smith, for this to be an account, John Smith has to enter a password. And we can't create a password for them. Only they can manage that for themselves. So we create that customer record based on the information that we have in the ZEISS system and on the register email that we got on them. And then what we do is we say, send account invite. So we're going to send account invite. And right now it's set up to come from Drew Consulting, and that's based on the Shopify settings, and that can be updated as you guys need to. I'm hoping that's going to come to my email address here. We'll see in a second. Usually. And here's the format of the email. We've got, the ZEISS branding and colors in there. So invitation was sent to to John Smith, which hopefully comes into my generic email box, and yes, it does. So what I'm going to bring over now is another screen. And this is my Jade Puma email box, which is done through Gmail. And I'm always going to display images just so you can see what the full email looks like. And now what you'll see here is I've got this activate your account. So now I'm John Smith, and I'm going to say I want to activate my account. And it's going to take me to the Shopify store and allow me to enter a password. So I'm waiting for that to happen here. So now I'm just going to put in a password. And this stuff up here, this is my LastPass stuff. And I'm just going to ignore that for right now. It's my password manager. So I'm going to say activate account. And I can't type the same thing twice, it looks like. As in, I don't know how to type it twice. Hopefully that works. Cool. So now here's my account record. So I've created an account now. So let's just get this screen off of there and go back to, so remember John Smith, we already sent them an account invite. So the account, and notice that the status had changed to account invite sent, but now I'm going to refresh that page. And it should say has account now. Yeah, so now it says has an account. So John Smith at Jade Puma can now log into the front end and access pricing. All right, so it was just the long explanation of the process that we have to go through. So where we were in our walkthrough was showing you how you have to be logged in, and right now you can see I'm not logged in, right? So I have to log in if I want to see a product page. So here's a collection page. I can still see that content. But when I click on a product page, it asks me to log in. I'm just going to continue to use my Scott at productgraph.io address because that's the one I've been using all along in testing. So then I log in, and now I can see, the product page, and I can see the price information that shows up there. So let's walk through some of the products, and let's start off with the cleaning solutions. So let's go to the cleaning solutions collection, and here you can see the different cleaning solutions that are available. I'm just going to click on the first one here. Now remember I'm logged in now, so I can see that page, and I'm going to add that to the cart. So if I add that to the cart, one of the things that we've done that you can see right here is there's a minimum order volume required for purchasing of cleaning supplies, and that is that it must be $400. So you can see here, I've ordered $216 worth of product, so I have 184 remaining. So we have this little warning note that pops up here. It says, hey, for cleaning supplies, it needs to be at least $400, please add 184 more dollars. So if I just change my quantity here to 2, that'll put me over that $400 threshold, and there's no warning message anymore, and now I can check out. A second ago, when I was below that $400 threshold, see the checkout button is not clickable. We gray it out, and it's not clickable at this moment. But once I go over that $400 threshold, that button is now activated, and I can click on that. So that's the cleaning supplies. And another thing to show you with the cleaning supplies is we have this other quick order form, which takes all of the different cleaning supplies and puts them on one page without all the product descriptions and details, right? But here's a way for me to easily just say, well, I want 1 of those, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those, 5, 6, and 7. And then if I click on the add to cart button, it's going to add all those separate items with those quantities. So I'm going to hit add to cart. And you'll see here, order quantity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it added them all to cart. And there's, there's my cart total there of $2,400. And because in a lot of places on the site we're adding lots of quantities, we've also added this button right here called clear cart. So when I've got right now 28 items to each, remove each one of these and from the cart can be time consuming, especially later on we start talking about lenses and we have hundreds of line items for lenses in here. We have this little button here we added that just clears the cart. Just click it and everything in the cart gets removed so I can start my shopping experience over again. And another thing to show you here is our prices are all in Canadian dollars. So when we go to checkout, you can see, we have to the right quantity there, right? Or the right minimum order volume. When we go to checkout, when they're checking out, it's actually in, the prices are shown and they're paying in Canadian dollars. So you can see that right here. Here's the currency description, letting the customer know it's Canadian dollars. This Shopify store is only allowed one currency, and obviously for a Canadian store, we made it Canadian dollars. Now, I want to show you on the lenses side of things. So if I go to the main lenses page, we have on this collection page, and it's a collection page because up here in the URL it says collections. We have 2 filters on the side for coating and material. So if I want to see, for example, I want to see all the photo fusion options, I just click on that and it shows just the photo fusions. And let's say, well, I want to see the ones that are 1.5, and it shows you have gray and brown as your options. So there's a way for customers to filter down from all these different choices of the lenses. There's a bunch of them there, to find the ones that they want that are appropriate for them. So let's just go into a lens page. And this here, where you're selecting a single lens, you can choose the sphere, and as you choose a sphere, the cylinder options will update based on, for that lens, what's available. So, for example, if I go down to 5.75, you'll see my cylinder options change to be 0 and negative 0.25. So, and if I try right now, by the way, you can see this little asterisk says this is required and this is required. If I try to add this to the cart right now, it won't, because I haven't selected which cylinder I want. So I'm going to select the minus 0.25, and the patient name is optional. So if I try to add that to the cart right now, it should add it and take me to the cart, and there it does. So go back to that product, and this section here of sphere, cylinder, and patient name, this is all managed by what's called product options, which is an app that's added to Shopify. So let's go to the back end, go to apps, just to show you where this is at. Here's product options by Bold. And we won't go into the full details of how this is all set up there. It takes a little bit to get it set up, but I just want to show you that this is where it's all managed from. So we were on a 1.5, we were on a platinum, I believe, so that would have been this one here. If I edit that, you can see it allows me to, there's where I say, oh, well, the sphere goes from +6 to -6. Right, there's all the different sphere settings, which match here, +6 to -6. And then each one of those cylinders that vary based on what sphere you select, that's what all these other ones are, is the different cylinder options. So we take the largest one, which is from 0 to -2, and then you can see we take down one option, so it's 0 to -1.75, and then 1.5. So that's how that's all set up. We say, here's all the options. For a sphere, we've got this one option, and then for cylinder, we have all these other ones. And then what we do is we go into product conditions. So we set up the options first, then we go into product conditions. We were looking at 1.5 platinum here, and you can see there's some conditional logic that says if sphere is equal to these values, then show this cylinder. So that's how, as we change the sphere, the cylinder options change, and most of them are the same. It's just as we get farther down the list is when they start getting smaller and smaller options. And that's why you can see here, as I'm changing my sphere, my cylinder is removing one of the options available each time. So that's how it's done in product options. Well, that's a quick overview of how it's done in product options. So that's how that works. And then we can put in a patient's name, which is optional. So I'm going to put in Scott Austin, and I'm going to add this to the cart. Remember, we've already added one of these to the cart, but each one gets added as a separate line item because they have different product options. So this is the one I added a moment ago, and this is the one I just added. And you'll see that we have these things called line item properties, which tells you what the sphere is, the cylinder, and the patient name if the customer put that in there. All right, we're going to clear our cart again. And show you another thing, and that is that there are no minimum order quantities required for, so this is $26 for ordering lenses. So I'm just going to add one to cart, $26, and you can see that I'm getting no warning message over here saying that there's a minimum threshold. That minimum threshold only applies to cleaning solutions. So if I try right now to go back and add a cleaning solution in, that doesn't meet the $400 threshold, and you'll notice that this math here is only working on the cleaning solutions, right? It's not factoring in the fact that I've got a lens ordered here, right? I can add 100 more lenses. Bring my cart value way up to $2,100, but it's still only calculating that $400 threshold for the wipes. or for the cleaning supplies total. So if I add a second cleaning supply, that's one way to get that error message to go away, or the warning message. And then if I just remove that altogether from the cart, that's another way to get that error message. So in the cart, we're checking that cleaning supplies total value is $400 or greater. So another thing we have on these product pages is you can order one lens at a time, which, if you're ordering lots of different combinations, can be quite the arduous experience, because you add it one at a time, goes to the cart, you have to come back. Another way to do it, you can see we say it right here, bulk ordering is available in the bulk order form section below. So here's the bulk order form, and this is what we call an accordion functionality. So if I click on this, it expands the accordion out, and we can see there's a whole grid of all the different options available for this lens of spheres and cylinders, right? That's a very long list. It actually gets kind of hard to navigate it because it's so long. So we added some, as you can see, this hover functionality to make it easier for you to see where you're at, and some highlighting things that are going on. So here's how I can, in bulk, order lots of different combinations. And then when I put in all the ones that I want, I go down to the bottom and say add to cart. And you got a little icon here because it can take a second or two to add it to cart. Shopify actually adds each one of those separately, and Shopify also throttles how much you can add. You can only add them one at a time. It doesn't just throw them all at once. So it queues them up and works through that queue, and it takes a moment. And you'll see a little bit later on how long that can take in some of these bigger add to carts that we do. But now you can see, here's all the items that we just added. And one of the nice things in the cart is each one's a separate line item. So if you want to change the quantity up or down, your customers can do that here in the cart. Okay, so now I'm going to clear my cart again. And we're going to go back now. So we were talking about in lenses how you can order individually, by the lens type, order one, or go through the bulk order form. Another option we have for purchasing of lenses is what we call initial inventory. So in initial inventory, what they're doing is, and you can see the grids are showing up here, is let's just go into one of these. So this is for a given lens combination of the 1.5 platinum. And what they do when they add this set to the cart is they get the orders the quantities that you see listed here in this little spreadsheet for each of the sphere and cylinder combinations. So in this case here, they're going to end up adding 100 different quantity to the cart. So remember a second ago I was telling you how it can take a minute to add that many things to the cart. So if we click this add set to cart button here, what you're going to see is a message come up. It says, hey, wait a second, this might take a moment. And we got that little spinning icon going, and it's adding it right now. And like I said, this does take a moment, so I want you to sit here and see how long that does take, because some of your customers may have questions about that. But when it's done doing this process, it's adding those 100 different quantities, which is like 90 or so line items to the cart. It'll take us to the cart, and we'll see that all listed there. And we're starting to go to the cart now. There we go. So now we've got, you can see up here in my cart total, right? There's a quantity of 100 different, lenses in here, and there's a different light item for each sphere and cylinder combination. So most of them were a quantity of 1, but farther down we'll probably see where it added quantities 2s and 3s, there's a 2, there's another 2. So it's the same matrix that was laid out. Remember, we were on that, actually clicking on this will take us back to the main product page, not to the initial inventory product page, just the way we have that set up. So that grid of this quantity is all now related in the cart. It all got added in one big bulk order. Now, they can't edit on this page what the quantities are, but once they get to the cart, they can edit the quantities there if they want to. So this is meant as a way for people who are, just starting out with a new inventory to quickly add a whole bunch of product to the cart much more easily than doing that, by hand, which can be kind of a pain. So that's the initial cart or initial inventory. And the way that this page or those pages are built, let me just show you one other thing. So on my account, I also have myself tagged as an admin, which gives me this little admin functionality. And there's this element I added called initial inventory. This takes us to a function called meta fields. I don't expect you to edit these, but I just wanted to show you that what we have for each of those products is this meta field thing, and then we have code that pulls that meta field down and determines, or adds all of those to the queue. So this is just how, if you wanted to change those spreadsheets, so the quantities that they ordered were different or the sphere cylinder combinations were different, this is where I would go and update the code to make it work the way that we want it to work. So let's go back to the store on the front end. So let's show you what the checkout experience looks like. So I've got that initial inventory of those 100 different combinations of lens and spheres, and I'm going to click on the checkout button now. And what we have set up in here for this store is, this is just a normal thing. So it remembers me and it remembers my address. I actually put your address in as my address because you must be shipping to Canada to have this store allow you to check out, which is just a setting that we've set. And we have free shipping for lenses, so it's already calculated that. So there's the free shipping, and then I continue on to payment method. And what you'll see here is the customer, we are doing invoices right now. So we could also accept credit cards if we want to, but right now we've got it set up for invoices so that you can, through your ZEISS system, send them invoices about their orders. If I completed the order, it would send it into the Shopify store, and the Shopify admins would get a notification, hey, here's an order, and then that information will get pushed into the ZEISS system. So let's go back to the home page, or back to the cart at least, and clear that cart again. Another functionality we have in the store is we have English and French. So up here you can see this toggle. It's up in it's called the top bar in the header. If I click on that, I can say French, and it changes the whole site to French. Notice all the navigation, all the different elements. If I go into products, it'll be French. And this translation is still being worked on, so it might not look like good French yet, but that'll be quickly finished. And I want to show you where that language translation is done. That's through another app that we added into the store. This one's called Langify. And the Langify app is the best app that exists for language translation in Shopify, but that doesn't mean it's a great app. It's a bit of work to get it to work properly. And we've got it set up so it works pretty well right now. But you can see here, if I click on French, what'll happen, let's just show you a real example, is let me go back to English. And we're going to take that. Welcome to the ZEISS ordering platform, right? I'm going to find that text in the Langify app. So what I do is I can go to search. So it's really hard sometimes, unless you work with this app a lot, to know where in all these different options, because there's all the language translations for French. Bring one up here. It takes a second to load, and you can see the green bar says it's been translated. But there's collections, there's products, there's pages. There's sections, there's themes, and it gets really confusing sometimes. Like, where's the text line that I'm looking for to translate this little bit of language? So one of the easiest ways to do it, if you just want to change something, one line really quick, is, remember we were just talking about, and I already searched for this earlier today, which is why it's already saved in my autocomplete. I'm going to do that. Welcome to the ZEISS ordering platform. Hit go. And you can see here, it says I can't find that anywhere, except it did find it here in theme settings. So if I click on theme settings, it'll give me a list of elements, and I've just got to find where that text is in that list of elements. And this loading time is normal with this app. It's got a lot of information. It's plugging along. So if I scroll down, I should be able to find that welcome message in English. If I'd known this was going to take this long, I would have done a page search. Sorry about that. And you see, like, some of them, promotion description appears here. That's just some placeholder text, something, somewhere on the site. That doesn't mean that it's going to show up to customers. Oh, there it is, down at the bottom. So there's the text that we're talking about. Welcome to the ZEISS ordering platform. And here's the French version for it. So if I go back to the front end and say, I want to see this in French, you'll see that the text changes to this, which matches the information that we see here. So each English text string in the store has a line somewhere in Langify that translates it to French. And like I said, it can be difficult to find it. The best way to find, if you're just looking for one single line item that needs to be changed, like maybe you notice a spelling error or some other error, just do a search for that English phrase, and it'd be easier to find where that French version exists. Okay, that's enough of that one. And then let's just show you some of what I call the evergreen pages that exist in the store. It would help if I did this in English, as I don't speak French. So here we have the register page, which you saw already, which is the form that we submit when a new customer wants to get access to the site. We've got an About Us page, which is just some information about ZEISS. We've got a Store Policies page with a cute little girl on the banner image there. And then we've also got a Contact Us page, which shows different contact methods. There's a little web form. There's an email listed, phone number, return address for returns, and there's also a map. There's the map that's showing up right now. So those pages in the back end, I just want to show you how they're edited. All those pages are built out with this functionality in Shopify called sections. So if we go to Online Store and Pages, I'm going to show you how not to edit this one. If I go to Contact Us, there's no information here. The content is empty because we're using sections instead of page content. So the way we find the section content and edit it is we go into Themes under Online Store over here on the left. And then it brings up this Themes functions, and there's this blue button called Customize. If I click on that, it's going to bring up theme customization, and here's how we edit content like on the home page, but we also edit content on the evergreen pages. So I'm going to go to the Contact Us page. So on the left are theme customization options over here, and on the right is a navigation window like your browser. So I'm going to click on the Contact Us page, and what it's going to do, it's going to change the content on the left to reflect the sections that are available or present on that Contact Us page. So you can see here we have a page section. I click on that page section, and this is where the content for the Contact Us page comes from. So you'll notice there's this block here called Contact Form, and when I expand that, if I can get it, there we go. When I expand that, get in touch, leave a message, this content here, changing those settings changes what shows up here. So on those evergreen pages, the first place you would start to edit them is through theme customization. So nothing's always pure and simple, of course. So let me show you a little bit of nuance, complexity there. If I go to Store Policies, it's also got this page section where I can edit the banner image, and I could change out the text here if I wanted to, and it would reflect the change over there. I could change, just so you see some of the things it can do. this transparency effect, for example, I could make that solid, or I could have it not show a background at all. I like it with the background of the transparency. We can also change, the text position. So there's different controls that we have through this theme customization. And that's for this banner block. You'll also see we have another block here. It's called page. Now we're on a section called page. There's a block called page, and I apologize, that gets confusing. That's the way that this theme is built. And what this says is this content down here comes from the page content of the store policies page, which happens to be the page that we're also on. And I do know that that's confusing as I say that. I'm technically accurate in what I just said, although I understand it might be confusing. That the store policies template is using the store policies page content to pull in the content here. So what that means is, and this is a good time to show you this, when I'm logged in to the Shopify backend, like I am right now, and I'm browsing on the front end, this little element down here shows up. This little Shopify logo. That doesn't show up for customers who are not logged into the back end of your store. So that's just for store admins. So it's a nice little functionality. Watch what happens when I click this button. I now get the ability to edit this page or customize this page, right? So customize this page takes us straight to theme customization of the page that we were just on. So I'm going to close this page out just to prove that to you. I'm going to click customize page, and it's going to take us into theme customization on the page that we were on, which was store policies, which is nice quick functionality, how to quickly get in and edit the content of a page. And then we also have this edit page. So if I click on edit page down here, it'll open up in the Shopify admin to the page content. And you'll notice here, this page has content in it. Remember, Contact Us didn't. This page does. So this page, there's two layers to editing it. One is in theme customization. The other is in page. So pages are here in the admin, and theme customization is here in the admin. Okay. And I think that is about it that I wanted to show you in this walkthrough for the ZEISS Canada store. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But hopefully this will help you figure out how most of the functionality that we built out works. Thanks a lot.